Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you for our time together. Suffering. I have to tell you, I'm not really into suffering. But I also have to tell you that sometimes it's a part of the Christian life. Paul wrote to the church of Philippi that watched him come there, watched him arrested, watched him put not just in jail, but put in a part of the jail where you were basically strapped down to a stone with chains and you went there to die and the rats eat your flesh, probably while you were still alive. They watched Paul do that. They watched the persecution that Paul went through in Philippi, in Thessalonica, in Berea. And Paul writes to them in Philippians chapter 1, verse 28 and 29. He said, "For it has been granted to you that for the sake of Christ," not because you enjoy it, not because, you want to act all spiritual or all holy or all, super Christian, but for the sake of Christ, you should not only believe in him, but also suffer for his sake. Engage in the same conflict that you saw I had, and now hear that I still have. Like Jesus in the garden, Paul understood that there's a difference between what God can do and what God's will is. Jesus understood, "Father, not my will, but thy will be done." If it's possible, Jesus knew all things were possible with God. Jesus knew that God could snap his fingers and have a whole new way of salvation. But Jesus also understood what God's power can do and what God's will is are two different subjects. Paul said, sometimes for the sake of Christ, you need to understand, in this world that we live in, where Christianity wants to be cool and popular, and therefore it becomes carnal and compromising. In this world where Christianity is all about events, place, and attracting attention to ourselves, Paul would look at us and say, you know what? You're not going to reach the world that way. You're not going to reach the world until you learn like Jesus. Sometimes, for the sake of Christ, it has been granted unto you. It has been given to you to suffer for his name's sake.